It's been said that the Agile movement is like a teenager. While a teenager is practically an adult, it's been 17 years since the signing of the Agile Manifesto, and as we're going to see, this year's VersionOne survey is proof of this maturity. The results of this year's survey came from thousands of companies around the world, from all kinds of industries, to answer the one big question: how is adoption of Agile making a better enterprise? In this episode, I will focus on the salient points of this survey, especially as it relates to scaling Agile across the enterprise. So let's start with some good news. Agile adoption is at an all-time high, at 94% claiming that they are following Agile methods. And of these folks, 98% say their Agile projects are successful. And 71% plan to invest in DevOps infrastructure like continuous integration and deployment. This sounds great until you realize that these same folks concede that 60% of their organization are not practicing Agile, so there's still much room for growth. I'll address this late majority a little later. For now, let's stay focused on those currently following Agile methods. Most of these companies self-assess their maturity level as still maturing. One of the most insightful questions on the survey was, why did you choose to invest in Agile methods in the first place? The top answer was, because we want to get our products to market faster. But when they were asked how they have benefited from Agile, the top answers were, it's helped our ability to manage changing priorities, followed by, we've improved project visibility, and it's increased team productivity. This to me is excellent news because it shows that companies are starting to understand the cultural benefits of Agile, benefits far beyond increasing speed of delivery. Now let's focus on scaling Agile. Before we get too far into this section, I want to point out that for over a decade, the dominant approach to multi-team collaboration was Scrum of Scrums. But the dissatisfaction from this approach gave rise to the modern scaling methods that we're going to talk about. SAFe has finally overtaken Scrum of Scrums. It is the clear winner when it comes to scaling, with 28% market penetration. Now, to be sure, there are other approaches to scaling, namely LeSS, DAD, and Nexus. But all these methods combined have a market share of only 6%. The survey also points out that successful scaling doesn't come cheap. You must have a staff of internal coaches. These are not new hires, but existing employees that have a deep interest in seeing their company become lean and agile. In fact, these coaches become the heartbeat of the transformation and are encouraged to form the Lean Agile Center of Excellence. Over time, they partner with external consultants to introduce more Agile and DevOps practices into the company. Executive sponsorship is also critical since employees must know with certainty that their leaders are enthusiastic about this change. Next is the importance of common tooling and practices. Since the goal of enterprise agility is to reduce overall lead time across the entire value stream, the teams must share a common vocabulary, practices, and project management tools. This level of transparency is nearly impossible to achieve when each segment in the value stream is using their own tools. In fact, a sign of a mature organization is their willingness to sacrifice some autonomy for the sake of the greater good. And lastly, company-provided training and workshops also contribute to scaling success. The people doing the work have to be trained on the new process and understand the reasons behind them. This leads us to the specific tools that are most popular among Agile teams for planning and tracking their work. Just to give a little background, in the early days of Agile, it was common belief that low-tech tools like Post-it notes and index cards were the way to go. However, we're seeing a trend away from these tools to fully electronic solutions. We're also seeing a move away from general-purpose apps like MS Excel, Google Docs, to application lifecycle management or ALM tools. Jira leads the pack with Microsoft TFS, MS Project, and VersionOne vying for second place. While the adoption of lean agile thinking and practices has certainly crossed a chasm, the late majority have yet to embrace it. However, we are seeing a positive shift from the late adopters who have until recently been sitting on the fence on whether they should go agile or not. I believe this shift is due to the maturity of scaling methods like SAFe and the tools that support them. I firmly believe that this trend will continue as large companies look to upgrade their leadership mindset to respond faster to an increasingly disruptive marketplace. I hope this summary has been useful to you. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. This is Armin Merabian with Portofino Media, and thanks for spending this time with me.